All right, what's up, guys? Josh Law here at TheCardGuyz, and today I have the great pleasure of having Kyle McKeough here with me to discuss his great run at the Calling Memphis just literally yesterday. We're getting this content out ASAP. Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Josh. Thanks for having me on. I'm still a little disappointed at the result, the final result, but I know it was a good run overall. And
Yeah.
it was happy to play Dory. Always happy to play.
Yeah, I
Dory.
mean, we were hanging out at the top tables for a while, and it was a good time. Getting to see Dory on stream a couple times as well, and just getting to chit chat about Dory on the weekend. And today we're gonna have a lot of good fun. So yeah, we got the list here. We're gonna run through how your tournament went, and we're gonna talk about some of the cards that you decided to play. So let me start off with this question: why did you play Dory at Calling Memphis as opposed to
So I've been playing
else?
right. I've been playing since Tales of Aria. I've been playing almost exclusively Warrior since then. They're all in my wheelhouse.
Yep.
The plan, I was expecting a lot of Victor. The plan was to play Kasai. And then at the side event Friday night before, the Blanche promo event, I played 2 Acilio, a Prism, and a Vincent. And I got destroyed. So I last minute pivoted, said if it's just going to be a bunch of Pixar lamps, I'm not going to play with Kasai.
Fair.
So per usual, my team tells me I do this all the time. I just threw Kasai away entirely and decided to throw what Dorinthea list I had together, and then hoped to hit that side of the bracket. Hoped that I was wrong. Didn't hit the Victors. Didn't hit the tankier decks that typically do well in the story.
Yep. The best call on which war to play often depends heavily on your meta predictions. So it's like, on one hand, you have Acilio, which basically only fears a high rolling Dorinthea. If Acilio sits down against the Kasai or Fang, they're ecstatic and thrilled. And then on the other side, if there's a lot of Guardians, then you really want either the specializations of Kasai or the real grind of a dual wield warrior to help you with that, because traditionally Guardians have been, especially Victor, have been really, really good against Dorinthia. So
yeah, for
sure. Okay, so that's a cool story there. So do you want to go through your list, or do you want to go through like how your tournament went? What do you think would be better?
Let's go through the list first, talk through some
Sure.
decisions that I've made.
Okay.
Because both of the new cards from Compendium that are in the list, don't inherently change the deck too much, but they're both very good cards.
Yes. Swordmaster, Shine, and Blunton. Yeah, definitely good cards. Okay, so let's start off by... So I'm sure that many people that are watching this right now are aware of my Unga Bunga style. And I think we'll start off with the chess piece here, because this is really like Bracers, Crown of Providence, Dawnblade, Refraction Bolters. We don't need to discuss them. Everybody knows what they do. Grades of Bloodspill versus Courage of Bladehold is a very, very defining choice, and Tunic as well. Why don't you talk me through a little bit why you decided to go with Grains of Bloodspill, and how did you craft your deck around that?
Grains of Bloodspill is the best warrior card that's ever been printed in the history of Flushing.
Dynamos is way up there, but unfortunately Dory doesn't use it.
It is. But everybody, except for Bolton, uses Grains, right? Grains is amazing.
Yes.
Grains amazing card. In contrast to your more Unga Bunga style of playing, I like to block. I'm a huge fan of getting a counter and saying I'm keeping that counter. And oftentimes when you do that, or when you're trying to get your opponent, when you're trying to bluff them with your reactions that you have, you can sometimes just end up arshaling things and having extra resources. And then Grains, by nature of Dawnblade costing 1 to swing, I mean, that's one less card I need in my hand just to be able to threaten to keep the counter. Right?
Yep.
And it also kind of...
It allows you to full block and, maybe keep an Iron Song response and just swing, right? So...
Exactly.
Yep.
A lot of like local warrior players that I have asked me about Dory, and the thing I say is that if you have no counters, on average, your deck is worse than your opponent's. If you have 1, it's as good as your opponent. 2, it's better, and 3, it becomes their only priority to get them away. Right.
Exactly.
So the goal shouldn't be necessarily, if you think you're a good player, if you think you're as good as your opponent, you should get decent results if you can just keep a counter for as long as possible, even if that doesn't mean getting way more.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
That's a big philosophical difference between our decks. My deck is trying to get a ton of counters and say, throw your hand down and pray I don't have Twinning Blade or Singing Steelblade, or
and that works.
Can just pump through them. Yeah,
and I can still do that. I think. Yes. I think like my deck can still do that.
Yes, you have Glistening Steelblade and other tools as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Can we jump to Swordmaster next?
Yeah. Let's go take a look at this card because this was the Card Guy spoiler card, and this is the biggest payoff for having a single counter because it operates real well off of blue.
People have talked for a long time about Dorinthea being underrated, right? But if you have a blue and a Swordmaster Shine with your one counter that your goal is to keep, you now have a 2-card 9, and we love 2-card 9s.
Yep.
Those are amazing, right?
Exactly. Yep.
It's also, I mean, you've said this, everyone said this. It goes one over the reaction that you know that they have, right? So they block Xaxes. They have the sink below or the shelter in Arsenal. And
Doesn't save them. Yep. This card is really this card is really nice. A lot of people have debated, like, should you run 2? Should you run 3? Should you run Route? Should you run Red Overpower? I noticed that you have also cut Route, and I don't see any Red Overpowers in your deck. And I think that's fine. 3 big attack reactions should be all you need. Because you have Singing Steelblade, you can grab them. So, I mean, you don't really need that many copies.
That was the inspiration from your Unga Bunga list. Like, we don't really need this anymore. We don't have to bank on a prize for full value. Just big number is good. Yep.
Now,
so
Route will always have a place in my heart, and it is possible that it does return. But I think right now this card kind of does it better. So,
all right, your Route is tracked, right? Don't you have fills?
Yeah.
I have that as well.
Keep that going, as well. Yeah. We kind of have to keep that going. All right, let's run through the list a little bit. So I think at this point, the attack reaction suite is pretty much set in stone. Blade Flurry, Iron Song Response, Jagged Edge, and then I run 2 punctures, you run 3. I think that's basically the same thing. So these red attack reactions alongside Swordmaster Shine, that gives you that beautiful 15 attack reactions coupled with Singing Steelblade. Basically means you always draw 1 every turn. So the core of a Dory turn is threat, blue, pump. And having 15 to 18 red attack reactions is pretty standard. Have you considered running, Out for Blood, Stroke of Foresight, those old school cards? Maybe because of Huntsman, Stroke of Foresight. That's one of the cards I've started to think about a little bit more. It's like maybe I can run 1 Stroke. That might help a little bit.
Stroke is like my pet card. I've loved that card forever. It's in my historically, it's my favorite 1-cost red reaction.
Okay.
But I think it's like I mean, everyone's got their favorite reaction.
Biting Blade is mine. Yeah, I love Biting Blade.
Yeah. Stroke of Foresight was always mine. But the puncture slot would be where it would go. No one's cutting Blade Flurry or Iron Song Response. Jagged Edge feels really necessary. Like, I don't know. I kind of waffled on Jagged Edge a little bit. It seems I don't feel like there's that much prevention if you're not into the full fatigue decks.
Yeah, but with Verdant's leaving.
Yeah, exactly.
And Prism, Whether you have 2 or 3, they have to assume you have 3. So, like,
exactly.
Whether you have 2 or 3 doesn't matter.
But I feel like everyone has armor. Like, armor's getting power crept for class. Like, that used to be our thing, and now everybody can do it.
Yes, that is something that is very, very important, which I think the shift maybe from full aggro Dory back to more mid-range now that, there's just so much armor in the format. There's fatigue decks running around. If you Unga Bunga into somebody with a brain with 9D reacts, it's tough. Like, at the Calling, I played a Syndra that knew exactly how to block Dory, and they had 9D reacts. It wasn't even close. Like, back in the day, Icelander with 3 Sink Belows, if they knew how to use them, it was already a really tough matchup. As soon as you get to 6, it's tough. 9, you don't even want to Unga Bunga anymore into 9. You just run into blowouts where they have 2D reacts, and
And so that's why I like the Grains, like a little more of a patient.
A little bit more
start. Like, I can choose my moment.
Yeah.
Right? It's not
Feel
send
out
everything
your
and then
opponent. Yeah.
I'm not trying to like snowball at first necessarily. I want to get the supremacy in there, see if I can buy a few D reacts from them, get them out of the way, and then try and go.
Yeah. One thing I always said in the past was it's very important to feel your opponent out. This is why I in my builds I've cut Warrior's Valor, but Warrior's Valor is actually the best litmus test for your opponent. When you send Warrior's Valor at them, you get so much information based on like how fast they block, how they block, what they block with, their body language when you send this card, because this is like the ultimate, hey, dealer's choice on how you want to deal with this. You can not block it, you could block it, you could overblock it, you could use your armor. There's so many ways to deal with a basic Dory turn, and the Dory player like gets so much information from this. So that's why, maybe this is why they chose this card as the tournament pack. So I saw you on stream. You had some of those. So really, really beautiful card.
Yeah, I did. I got one of the Marvel ones for the tournament pack, so it was cool to have it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I had to block with it.
Unfortunately,
but it's also like it's a pretty honest card in Dorinthea as well. Like it's a little face up. It is a 1 cost. It's 3. It has to hit to get go again. We're not on attack actions, so that doesn't actually matter. I'm also not on the amulets or the potions that is in the Unga Bunga list. So whether it hits or not makes a difference to me. But it's a pretty honest card. One thing I like to do when I'm playing, you have to bluff people as Dorinthea, obviously. I play pretty quickly in general. One thing that I will do is if I will go into the think tank and hide in my shirt when I am staring at trot along, glint, determination. Just to keep the mind games going so they don't know what I'm thinking. Warrior's Valor is like kind of an antithesis to that, but it does say, give me a second card or this is going to be too easy.
Yeah, speaking of that, you know what? I'll dive into a little bit of my Dory techniques here. Hopefully only the Dory fans are watching this. Hopefully none of my opponents are going to watch this. Sometimes when I have only a single blue, I will play the Warrior's Valor and pause, or the Steelblade Supremacy and pause. I'm like, which card should I pitch? If my opponent is a thinking player, they're like, oh, he has 2 blues and he's deciding which one to pick. No, I only have 1 blue. So I'm just pretending like I have 2 blues.
Do you ever pitch the red when you do have a blue?
Yes. It turns 0. That's the most common thing. You pitch the red. You're like, I guess I got to filter swing Dauntless. They're like, oh, he's just block 3. And you're like, okay, overpowered.
Whatever.
You're like, okay. Oh, damn, you got me. Yeah. That's there's a lot of little techniques, and what techniques work really depend on the level of your opponent. So that's why the whole feeling your opponent out is pretty important. Okay, so we talked about the attack reactions. Let's dive into the actions. So I also now you were giving me some shit about lead with speed, but I see you have 2 copies of them. What's going on here?
I was wrong, Josh. I was wrong. The card's good.
The card is good. Turn 0.
The worst part
about
really the card. Nice. The worst part about the card is the card in the part in the bottom right. I hate that it's a 2 block. Because it's not. It is a setup card for Warrior, right? It's not a particularly. It's saying I'm about to do something. It's not doing. Something itself, right? Which means if you do have tempo already, it's really easy to want to block with it. But yeah, exactly. The grains, right?
Yeah, I was going to say that your setup turn is actually more deadly than the Unga Bunga setup turn because it's pitch a blue, leave a speed, swing, on hit grains. It's like Dory going into the next turn with an agility, a vigor token, and a 5-card hand is actually terrifying. So there's a particular synergy here.
There was one game where I had an Iron Song response in Arsenal, and I had the agility, and I had 2 vigor tokens, and I was like, can I block with everything? Can I just give him the whole hand?
Yeah, you can convert that into 12 block, and then you get the swing. So that's a 21 there, so it's pretty good. 2 copies. I guess this is because you're a little bit more mid-rangey. You want the deck to go a little bit longer. You don't need agility tokens as badly as my deck needs it. My deck literally running Shift the Tide of Battle because I want the game to go like 4 turns. I want to have agility all the turns, and I want to use my bolters.
Yeah.
So you're never going to draw this you're never going to draw these together generally as a 2-of.
Right. Right. And then there are matchups where it comes out. It is not an every game thing, no matter what.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Sick Below is in the main board here. Just kind of a nod to being.
It's the best card in the game, Josh.
Yeah,
it's the best,
a nod
it's the
to being mid range. This is very interesting because I only sided this in against Gravy and maybe other warriors. Like, even against Mario, my default plan was just to kill him. And this kind of made my offense clunky, but because you are a more mid-range deck, this makes a lot of sense. I noticed that there are some shelters here, but you're not going all the way to, the core 9 of Syncfake Shelter. Why are you kind of on the 5D React train instead of the 9D React train?
Until this weekend, I only owned 2 shelters. Is the true
okay. Well,
true answer of it. I don't own a 3rd shelter.
Yeah, you cashed, so you probably could go get another one. Why aren't you on Facebook?
I did. Well, you don't need it.
You don't need it.
You don't need it. Your blocks are very good. The 1 extra value doesn't do it. Like, I don't feel like it.
It doesn't.
It's great, but it's not actively killing your opponent or making your opponent think that you're about to kill them. So you don't. It doesn't mean anything. Sink Below can fix your mana, fix your resource curve, right?
Yep.
You draw
3 blues or 3 reds. Yeah, it definitely fixes everything.
Fate is great in decks like Kasai, but pretty unnecessary.
You don't really need to know what's on top of your deck. So, all right.
Right.
I don't think we need to talk much about Supremacy or Unsheathed. Of note, because you are not running things like Sharpened Steel, your Unsheaths are a little bit harder to turn on. But if you're playing, Protect the Single counter, this should be online pretty often.
I've called it half-hand Dory a lot.
Yeah, half-hand Dory. Okay.
Where I'm very willing to block it, keep the counter. So Unsheath gets good.
Yeah.
And it's just a Sharpened Steel if it's not already good. So
Okay. All right, let's talk about the biggest departure. So I have not run Warriors Valor in my Dorinthea list for about half a year.
I hope you don't run it.
Yeah, I hope you don't run Warriors Valor Bolted. But so is this? I mean, this is like the most mid-rangey card that exists for Dory. Why is this? Why is this in the list? Give me the pitch for it.
I think you mean more of a pitch to prove why it shouldn't. It just kind of does all of the things, right?
Yeah, this is from WTR. Like, any WTR card is generally like
Dorinthea Iron Song is from Welcome to Rave.
Yeah, like yep.
Iron Song Response is from Welcome to Rave. Steelblade Supremacy is from Welcome to Rave. That part doesn't bother me. Yes, it has been a little correct. I want the first thing I do to ask them to give me as much as possible.
Okay.
I want to exploit it. I want to exploit it when they don't respect things, not when they do. I don't want to say they give me a bunch of cards, I unga bunga over the top, keep going, get the agility. That's not. I want them to say, no, this is fine, and then prove that it's not fine. The bigger number from the get-go helps a lot. And then again, I said it earlier, I don't run any attack reactions, so the go again
attack actions.
Attack actions.
Yeah.
Attack actions or items, my bad. I don't run any attack actions, so the go again, if something doesn't hit, the Embolden Blade effect doesn't have go again anymore.
Sure.
So that part's irrelevant.
Also of note that this 1 cost is not that bad in a Grains deck, because the old saying was, oh, you need a blue Warriors Valor Iron Song response. If you ever draw a blue Warriors Valor and a 1 cost, you're sad. But with Vigor tokens, you're not really sad. If you draw a Warriors Valor, a blue, and Jagged Edge or Puncture, you're actually quite happy. So, okay, let's move on here. This is like the all stars of yellows here. Why aren't you running a full playset of Glistening, and why aren't you running a full playset of Determination?
Okay. Against the decks where Glistening shines the most, we are already pretty okay as Dawnblade players. Decks like Acilio or Dash or Syndra, Katsu, like that kind of like also want to kind of race thing. Those are the decks that do well, that where Glistening looks the best. We already play relatively well into those decks, especially if we can block pivotal turns. So I don't feel like 3 was necessary. When you have decks that are super willing to block, like it doesn't necessarily do anything. It's a 1 cost that only gives go again. It doesn't present that big number in the beginning. So I don't feel like you need 3. With that said, if you rampage with it a little bit,
you could theoretically get 4 counters in 1 turn if everything goes really well.
Yeah. This card did not hit the entire weekend, just for the record.
Interesting.
At no point did it.
Yeah, I think
no point did it hit with it.
This card, if we're in a heavy Guardian meta, this is not the card you want to be playing. I don't even side this in against Guardians or like Warriors in general because they just too much armor, too much D-reacts. You know, all their cards block for 3. So this is a very meta dependent card. So it might be time to slim down to 2. Iron Song Determination down to 2. Another just, I guess if you're not running, you know, Sharpened Steel and agility tokens and Dauntless, like probably not as needed.
I don't mind. Yeah, exactly. But I also don't mind this. This card's fine at 3 if you want to run 3 in your deck. But I typically want to find 1 to establish a counter and then 1 for the kill turn when it gets late. You can't really block with them that way. They still pitch for yellow, which isn't too bad. A Dawn Blade and a 1 cost reaction, right? But yeah, it's just a good card. Yeah. I refuse to explain 3 singing, 3 twinning.
No, nobody needs explanations on those. The only time you would be running less than 3 twinning blades is if you're like a really like this is like 3 years ago when you're running like you weren't running Unsheath didn't exist, agility tokens didn't exist. That's just a very, very long time ago. All right, back to the blues. Ataya is in your main board. So you do have like a no block there. I think this is a pretty good choice because I don't think there's any deck in the format that isn't running at least some D-reacts. So, and Tunic is becoming a little bit more rare these days. So this could trip people up. I think this card's really good.
I agree. It goes into everything. I'd like to say when I deck build and when I sideboard, I try and get a base 60, 61, something like that, and then just say all these other cards are for certain matchups.
Right.
Things can swap in and out as I go. So if you look at this list, don't get too caught up in what's on the main board and what's on the sideboard, except for what's specifically in place, like 4 things.
So running 22 blues here, that's a pretty standard number, especially if you're on grains, you want it to be a little bit higher. Everything here looks pretty standard. Some people do wonder why Provoke is a 3 of.
It's the best. This card's so good.
Guys, this is the only way for us to interact with our opponent. Force them to do something. So
this card is so good.
Yes.
It is. This card was an absolute star in one matchup that I played this weekend.
Okay, what happened?
It was against a Jarl. I got a counter against a Jarl, and the Jarl was pretty adamant on getting that counter off, as Guardians would do.
Yep, Guardians definitely don't like us having counters.
He kept wanting to hammer back. Just throw a hammer for 4, chip me down, bring me down, keep me off counters. But as soon as I kept hitting provokes, so he would like block 6, pitch 1 of the cards, and then staunch from Arsenal. And I'm like, okay, the Dawn Blade is now dead for this turn. Give me the last card as well, so you can't keep the so you can't keep putting back any pressure. And he reset me, but I constantly reset him in response. And it's it's the equivalent of them over blocking for the floating resource that you already have. And that's a great feeling.
This card, you need to think from your opponent's perspective. If they're blocking, they have a plan with the other cards. The most classic example is Verdant's blocks for 6 and wants to throw Felling at your face. Well, guess what? If you take one of those cards, she does nothing on her turn. So this card has to be run of as a 3 of, I think, in all Dory builds at the moment.
And all Kasai builds.
And every dual wield warrior, everything other than Bolton. Okay, just run your playset of Provokes. All right, that's been your PSA from the Warrior, from us Warriors to you guys.
From the barracks.
Yeah, from the barracks. Okay, so pretty standard here. Also running the blue Warriors Valor kind of makes sense. You're a more mid-range check. Yep.
We could have traded up some of the blues, but since I pivoted from Kasai, these were just the cards I had with me. So
okay, yeah, I mean
there was a little funky.
Fair.
There's a little. It wasn't. I like clean numbers a lot of the time, but like the 2 Warriors Valor, I just didn't have a third one.
Fair enough. That's fine.
We put a second nip at the heels, and then we kind of tried to. And we had 2 nip at the heels instead of a third.
So this card is often all you need to protect the counter, to push damage, force to react. So it's a good card. Okay, there is a noticeable card that is missing here, and I'm going to have to ask you about it. Diamond Amulet. Diamond Amulet is instant speed bolters. Where's your Diamond Amulet?
It's another card that doesn't block.
That is true. There's a chance to draw.
I didn't have one with me because I was playing Kasai the night before.
Fair enough. So, would you consider that card in the list?
Yeah, 100%. Card's great.
Yeah,
card's amazing. It's bolters that. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, the Diamond Amulet is more powerful than bolters, and bolters is already absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah,
bolters, in my opinion, is the litmus test of how good a Dory player is. If I can watch a Dory play, and if they just crack their bolters all willy-nilly, I can kind of get a gauge as to whether or not they're legitimate or not.
Yep. All right, let's take a look at the sideboard here. So looks like we're running some Respect for Prism. I presume this is only for Prism. There's like fatigue matchups. Do you bring these in?
Nope.
For threat density?
Nope.
Okay. I gotta ask, why are you not running Look Tough? So Look Tough is the 8 power one. Plays around Triumph plus, all the maybe Figment of Triumph.
Because they're what I had with me.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I think these should be a playset of Look Tough, probably.
Look Tough is the card that should go there, but I wanted to give you the list as I played it, not as I would have played it.
Got it.
I had 2 Battlefield Bastions in my binder, and then I got the Blanche from the promo event. Threw them in the deck for poppers.
That's fair.
And so that's that. It should be Look Tough.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We already talked about, 2 shelters, can go up to 3 if you want them. Take it on the chin. This is a very interesting card. This is like obviously played at every dual wield warrior.
Yep.
This card, I guess, it can work very favorably against the flicks from the assassins and ninjas. There's sometimes where just having, a D react for 2 is often good enough as well against like Blade Flurry and stuff like that. So tell me a little bit about why you chose this card. I sometimes see this card. I sometimes don't see this card in the list.
There's 2 reasons. One is the flicks. Obviously, I want to get marked as little as possible. I can't fully commit to giving a ton of sideboard space to Mario, even though we kind of already did. But it's for the flicks. It's also for one other scenario. When you have pressure put on an Acilio, one of the most annoying things they can do on their turn is play a sigil, like block a little bit, play a sigil, activate Volzar, and mind warp you for 1 over. So for the surge value, effectively. I run 0 Arcane Barrier into Acilio because Arcane Barrier does not actively reduce their health total. So if for some reason you have this, you can trade, you can mind surge, mind whatever card, whatever
mind warp.
Mind warp, whatever, that. And keep the damage off. It's not even, just so they don't change what you've already set up, so to speak. And that is the only reason. That's super fringe. It doesn't happen every Acilio game. If you don't want to run this card, I don't blame you. I love this card, though. Feels great. Agility tokens are cool.
When I first saw this card, I was like, this might be the very first warrior card that gets banned. It's really powerful. It's really, really powerful. So, the only...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is like a random complaint. The only thing I wish is that it was worded a little nicely. It says, I wish it was prevent the next 2 damage, not prevent 2 of that damage. So that's a little bit unfortunate. But, they always word things weird for warriors. So
the points we would get into Mario by stopping his base dagger and the flicked dagger would be amazing.
It would be really nice.
Unfortunately, LSS hates So
hey, I don't know if they hate us that much. Oh wait, they want us to hate each other. I guess that's with this card.
Yeah, true.
So Blunted. Okay,
Yep.
so I have a confession. I think this card is not as insane as it looks. It's good. Is it insane?
No, but it is good.
It's good. It's good. It's not T-Tox Codex levels, but
it's
you know,
not. Nothing is.
Yeah,
nothing
is.
Yeah, we don't get
Codex levels.
they get that. Yeah. My initial thought when I saw this card was that it was mediocre. It's just more warrior.
It's Kabuto 2.0. Yeah.
For warrior. Yeah, it's Kabuto 2.0 exactly. But it is quite convenient into the Marios. It's very nice. Actually, in my stream game, it did make the scenario almost.
It made it worse.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Also, in the tournament, I played 2 Techlosans, which is in a nearly impossible matchup for Dory, for Dawnblade Dory. And my attempted win condition was trying to blunten and or provoke the singularity out of their hand.
Yep,
that was never going to work. But it was something.
You gotta try something.
I gotta try it. Yeah. It's good against the ninjas. It's good against other warriors, obviously.
Yeah, decent against brute if you draw it at the right time.
Where it was actually mostly useful this weekend was I decided to run it into -IO, and if they stacked action points, they can try and pistol you just to see, or gun just to see what you're going to do, see how you react. The warrior strats, basically, and I had them discard off of that, which is quite nice.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It was a very last minute change. I was like, whatever, I'll run it. I'm 5-0 at this point, whatever. Yeah. And
let's try it.
It worked out.
Cool. All right, we got a copy of Embolden Blade. This is how you deal psychic damage to your opponent.
Sure.
I love that some people run 0, some people run 1, some people run 2, some people run 3. And that's the beauty of it, is if they don't see it, they have to assume that you might have it. If they see 1, they think about the second, you know. So
yep.
And Kyle, you and I, extremely seasoned warrior players. I could even tell when you walked up to me at the tournament what era you're playing against based on your face.
Like true.
This playing on Talishar, this doesn't have a high win hit rate, but playing IRL, it's pretty easy to tell at this point when they have a D-reacted arsenal. Sometimes you have an extra blue, so you just play it. So
people that have been playing or Dorinthea specifically forever, I say we know how to smell defense reaction. Yeah, it's not the person next to you is not wearing deodorant. We know it's St.
We just
that's what it is.
Yeah.
I would say more often than not, it is blocked with or haphazardly pitched more often than it's actually resolved.
Yep.
But I can say with some confidence, I am not putting this card on the board. I'm not resolving this card unless I know it is a defense reaction.
Yeah.
And I don't mean I've seen it. I mean we can tell. We know when you have.
Yeah, you have go again, and you decided to arsenal. You have 2 cards, and you IP 1 and arsenal.
Exactly.
It's very, very obvious. All right, let me tell you a little bit of
the
a joke.
Syndra.
Oh yeah. Go. This is a side tangent.
The Syndra that draws a card as their only card in their hand, and then they stare at it for a long time, acting they're gonna play it, and they put it in arsenal.
Yeah.
Get that thing out of here.
Yeah. It's is that Oath of Loyalty? If it's not Oath of Loyalty exactly, then it's a D.
It's a D-reactor. You're gonna play it. Yeah, get it out of here.
Yep. Let me tell you a little joke. So,
sure.
If LSS designed this card for assassins, you know what this would read?
Probably
basically the same
target
text. Yeah.
Okay.
You go.
Yeah. Turn a face down card in any arsenal face up. If it is red, blue, or yellow, all of their block values are reduced to 0. They get a Frailty, a Blood Rot, and
hold on. That's deviating from
your next dagger has +6, and then recur whatever card you want from your graveyard.
Here's what I would say. Here, hire me LSS. It says this is a blue block 3 assassin action. Cost 0. It's called Embolden Dagger. Turn a face down card in any arsenal face up. If it's a defense reaction, search your opponent's hand, arsenal, and library for it. Destroy all copies. Yep. Your next dagger attack gets +1 and costs 1 less. Go again.
Cost 1 less. Go again. Additionally, those cards cannot be played in your opponent's next game. They gotta take them out for the next game.
You literally purge their whole deck of D-Reacts.
Exactly.
That would be awesome. See, they could have made this card way more powerful.
Sure.
We get to go tutor, go pick it in their deck, go find all their sick blows, get them out of here. So,
it's so much more satisfying when Warriors win because we are playing with nerf Assassin's cards every time.
Yeah. Nobody cheers when T-Tox gets lethal. People cheer when Route gets lethal, though. So,
despite the result, I know everybody watching that stream was not cheering for Lucas Oswald. They were cheering for me. We weren't cheering for the Assylia. They were cheering for you.
Yep, exactly. All right, let's talk about a little bit of the helmets here. So you have found room for Balance of Justice. I do think this is a pretty good card in this meta. There are quite a few decks that draw 2 cards. Like Asylio is definitely one of those. Marlin, Brutes.
Goes to Asylio. Gravy Bones.
Yep, Gravy. Any gold-based deck often draws multiple cards. So you got Crown of Providence, Balance of Justice, and Kabuto. Those are pretty standard. Yep. Why did you choose Null Ring Gloves as your AB slot instead of the headpiece?
I had it with me.
Okay, there we go. Okay, sure. So generally you go with the headpiece because just 1 extra value. Also, the only matchup we run this into is Vincent. And
the only thing is Vincent. Nothing else. Yep. There's not that many. There's only one other arcane hero. Reliable arcane hero right now, right? It's just Vincent and Asylio.
Hey, trivia question. Which 4 classes can deal arcane damage?
That's easy. Wizard, Rune Blade, Illusionist.
Yep.
And probably a
not
assassin
one of,
after one set.
You're right. Assassin. They can infiltrate. They can infiltrate your zap and then play the zap on you. So
sure. Yeah.
Look at how OP assassins are.
I saw an infiltrate hidden Arclight Sentinel, and it was resolved this weekend.
I mean, that you never know.
Disgusting.
All right, let's talk a little bit about some other cards that you weren't playing. So Dauntless, this was pretty standard when Florian and Verdance were in the meta. Are you not a fan of Dauntless?
No, and I have told you this before. This card, it's garbage. It doesn't do anything. We already know where the D-React's there. Make them play it. Who cares? They don't care about it costing. They don't really care about it costing 1 more. If they're going to play it to stop your Dawnblade counters, they're going to play it to stop your Dawnblade counters. A slightly more reset in tempo doesn't change anything.
Okay, so
it's not worth it.
In the Unga Bunga list, I think it is better because it reduces the max block value of your opponent, which can allow you to continue to snowball. So if you've already got 2 counters and you play a Dauntless, their hand literally becomes, instead of 13 block, it becomes 8 block. Or, sorry, 10 block. Right. So, it's more likely to snowball. So, that's a stylistic choice. If you're playing Courage and you're being really aggressive, Dauntless could be better.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
I've never preferred that all-in version of the deck. I like to pick my moment, whether that means choose my moment to slow down as you have to in certain matchups, or to choose when I'm going to start pushing.
Sure.
I don't know. We just play it a bit differently.
Sure.
And neither is correct or incorrect in an open meta, which this certainly was.
Okay. Speaking of the open meta, let's talk a little bit about your tournament in Memphis. So I believe there were 12 rounds. Why don't you kind of walk me through how your day 1 went? What were the matchups? Any notable stories from them?
Well, day 1 went great, as I have to say. It actually went better for me than anybody else in the whole tournament. I was seed 1 after day 1. However, it is all a lie because round 1 of the tournament, I got allocated as my opponent in a 297-person tournament. It said unknown on the stream. That's how they tell you that it's a bye.
Wow. Okay.
So I got a bye.
We'll take it. That guy sucks. He doesn't win anything.
Reliable. He goes to every tournament that has an odd number of players. But I got the bye in round 1. It was nice to kind of have the little nervous energy that can happen before big tournaments kind of get dumped from the buy round, and I could go around and count all the tough nuts or whatever I was doing.
I played a tough nut round 1. So
yeah.
Yeah.
There's tough nut mirror in round 1, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. The round 2, I played Christopher Alley on Vincent. I have a very good local Vincent player, and I'm very familiar with the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
In that matchup specifically, if you're having trouble with it, we're pretty favored, but there is kind of an inflection point that both people are looking for, where the Dory has to decide if the plan is to run the Vincent down to 0 or pivot to a fatigue plan. See if they're overcommitting on blocking, and then if they get tempo back, to just give up your tempo in perpetuity and try and fatigue them. Mm-hmm. My opinion is that whoever realizes when that point in the game is first is going to win the game. The person who realizes second, it's already too late for them. The Vincent's not going to be able to stack you out, and you're not going to be able to run them down if you commit to that.
Is that a matchup where
luckily I realized
overboard a little bit? I've noticed that you sometimes can't quite pivot to fatigue if you're running a clean 60. Like you're like 4 or 5 cards short sometimes.
I overboard the non-red cards. Okay. Like D-Reacts can go in. This is in like not specifically this match, not specifically this deck list, but so the shelters will go in because they're great, right? They're flexible. But if I were to when I played it in this one, I ran the Bluntons and the Embolden Blade in the deck list as well.
Okay, interesting.
When you go on the fatigue plan, which can happen as soon as if they get a big Deathly Whale or Deep Recess's turn, you enact the strategy that I call Operation Get the Red Cards Out of Your Deck Desperate.
Yeah, because at the very end of the game, if you don't draw at least 2 blues, you can just die.
You can just die, exactly. So I think I realized that slightly before. I realized where the point in the game was, where the shift happened slightly before Chris Ayali. Great player, obviously, but I got there. Then I played.
That's very interesting. I also played him round 1 of Memphis the previous year.
Last year?
Also, nice, but I was on a Hatchet Dory, and he got me barely at the end there. All right, how's your round 3 go?
I also dated Memphis last year with Dauntless Dory.
Oh, there you go.
So
good job.
It's a good tournament for me.
Round 3, I think we're sitting next to each other.
Table 1, table 2.
For a couple rounds.
I played a Gravy Bones. Absolutely no disrespect to my Gravy player. He was great to play against. But I was watching your game the whole time. That matchup is...
I was watching your game as well. Because I was playing Dory versus Katsu. I'm like, there's a lot of thinking. When Katsu's thinking, they have to think for a long time. I look over, I'm like, oh yeah, he's got a bajillion Domblade counters. There's like hardly anything on the board. I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. Our 2 games were completely different, but we could watch both of them.
He played very well, like much better than I've seen most Gravy players play against Dory. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the reality situation is that against a very seasoned Dory player, you're not winning as Gravy. Like overwhelmingly, you're not. It's possible, but most of the time, it's not happening.
Yeah, especially if you have a decent amount of D-Reacts, you could just like every Leyline Conqueror burst turn, you could block that out, and like Warrior's Valor is just like cleans up everything as well. Like that's your deck actually has extra go against sources compared to the other decks, so that's all the blues also help clear things. So did your opponent play Remembrance by any chance? Because I know that like some gravies are like Leyline, Remembrance, Leyline type of strategy.
No, he did not.
Okay.
He played Scoob, obviously, to try and get the Leylines back, because that is their chance to kill you. But there was no Remembrance.
Okay, fair. So, okay, how'd your next round go?
Round 4 was either a Jarl or an Acilio. The 5th round was the other one. Mm-hmm. Roll dice. I went first against Acilio. I got a counter.
Yep. Winning the dice roll against Acilio is very important when you have no AB. So,
I got a counter and charge.
Yep. Keep poking until they die. Yep. How about Jarl? Jarl
D-Reacts go out.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I think Grains is important in Acilio, in my opinion, because you want to keep, if you have Vigor tokens, they're going to try and combo you out. You're going to shove everything in front of them, and if you get to keep the counters after that, the matchup's super. It's fine if they don't manage to kill you on the combo turn.
Sure.
So beat Acilio, then Jarl.
Yep,
Jarl, Jarl is not Oldhim for the record. He is so much easier to play than Oldhim was. So I much prefer the take it slow style of my mid-range Dory deck over the Unga Bunga style of yours and something like Jarl.
You don't have to expose your armor slots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I still can if I am, when I do get the tempo. There was my opponent played Sledge into me, hoping to just block and sledge me with a blue every 3 turns on his Tunic counter. I didn't understand this at all. I've not seen this into Dory. I would think you would play the Frost Shield, whatever that's called, and just try and kill my tempo. But he thought he could tank through me. I got a counter. I kept the counter. Nice player. He played clean. He played his strategy cleanly, but it wasn't like effective in that game. And he was a cool guy. Forgot his name. He's a cool guy though.
All right.
Got that one. Next one was a Dio. I run Kabuto into Dio as the headpiece. If they ever stack action points, you Kabuto to stop the gun.
So how'd your Kabuto block for 6?
It might have been. It might have been 4.
Okay.
It might have been additional 4.
Okay. Yeah, it's still good if you could do that.
Might have an extra action.
Yeah, because
I don't know why I said it.
Yeah, because Balance of Justice is very unlikely to get double draws. Theoretically,
as soon as they see it, right?
Yeah. I think Crowd of Providence
They're just
can
not
help
gonna draw
maybe block a Boom Grenade turn on, like if you sink your arsenal and get a card. So I think you kind of dealer's choice on what you want to play for headpiece there. So
it blocks 6. It blocks 6 because he had 2 action points, and then it gets the 2 block value from the boost card that I put it on.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Okay,
does that make sense?
Yeah. 6 value. That's we like Husk at home. It's pretty good. So that matchup, I presume you weren't trying to fatigue them out with just 4D or 5D reacts. It was kind of
send it.
Kind of send it.
I send it. It's similar to that Vincent kind of thing as well, where you send it, and if they wrestle tempo from you, then you pivot to try and fatiguing them. The Dio player was very willing to press the chess piece, press the heart button.
Yep.
And banish 2 cards on top of his deck.
Yeah,
I felt relatively confident that if he got more damage in on me, I could have stopped and fatigued him. But I felt comfortable pushing. I did kill him through traditional. He didn't fatigue him.
Okay, got it. Okay, so that takes us all the way to round 7.
Another Acilio.
Yes, you were playing against the guy I drove up with. he plays a ton of Acilio. So yeah.
It was the only time the whole day that I was not at table 1. Because he had a broken foot.
He was rock climbing and then suddenly rock falling. So that's what happened to him. So you were like, "Hey, why am I not at table 1 anymore?" It's like, well, sorry.
I was at table 48 or something. So
let me tell you a little bit of a joke, because I think so. There was another person that also. So if for some reason you have mobility issues, you can talk to a judge before the tournament, and Gem can lock you to a table, right? And there was another person at the event that was in a wheelchair, and then Austin asked the judge, "It's like, so what happens if him and I play? Who has to move?" And then the judge was like, "That can't happen." It's like, oh, okay. And then I was thinking, so if we want to prevent team kills, all the card guys just go rock climbing, and then we all do rock falling, and we're like, "Hey, judge, all the card guys need locked tables. We got
drink lots of water, get a good night's sleep, hit yourself in the knee with a hammer, right?
Yep. Just don't get any team kills issues." All right. Okay. So how did round 7 go?
Round 7, it was a much closer game than my initial Acilio opponent, but we got there. I didn't get a counter on turn 1. Good for him.
Yeah.
But
you won the dice roll, though, which is good.
I did. Big deal. It ended up a scenario after his combo turn, I was at 4, which is not a safe place to be on a drop from an Acilia.
Unless you have taken on
play
the
lightning and then shock you. I didn't have the chin in that hand.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. So blocked out the combo turn. I had a floating vigor token, and the only card I held on to was an Iron Song Determination, knowing he was relatively unlikely to hit. And then I had an Unsheathed in Arsenal. So it was 7 dominate, and he was at 2 or something. And he couldn't find the 4 damage. So
okay. All right. So that takes you to a perfect record on day 1. Also of note, I think you were the only Dorinthea that converted to day 2. My day was I got blasted by a Cilio on camera. I lost to a Sinja who had a bajillion D-reacts, and then I played Noah Bagelman's Victor. So I did not make day 2. So how did you feel at the end of Saturday?
The end of Saturday felt great. I got a billion messages on Discord calling me the hope of Dory, and everyone was cheering for me and all that kind of stuff. It was a good feeling. I felt pretty elated. It's the hottest I've ever started in a big event. And it was a little surreal, I guess, to be first seed at the end of day 1 with a fringe deck at best. Also, since I've been playing Warrior for so long, it felt like a payoff, like proof that I can do it. Right? It's not just a fluke. I actually am decent with the deck, and it's nice to know that. Like on paper. And then day 2 happened.
Oh boy. Yeah. So day 2, so they have the standings posted and everything. So you knew you were either going to play one of the other 2 undefeated people, or you were going to get paired down into one of the 6 ones. You got paired into Lucas Oswald, who was also 7-0, and obviously they put the 7-0 mirror on stream. And that matchup, well, I mean, that I watched it back. That was it feels like that matchup was a little bit out of your control.
So a couple things happened. He got the flick. He went first. He got the flick flicked into Mark into Trapdoor. Immediately blocked with his head and went Headpiece and went to Orb Weaver.
That's the hottest start. That's the hottest start you could have, basically.
It's the worst case scenario. They're like effectively a card and a half on you. So not a great start there. I was just trying to hold until I could find a place to wrestle tempo back. And when I did, it was a supremacy turn. He had either 2 or 3 D-reacts and just stuffed the turn. And I will not take responsibility for any of my plays post that moment, because
the game was already over at that moment.
The game was over, and mentally I had given up. That was it. That was my chance to get back. After that, I just casually laid cards in front of him until he got my help. So
fair enough. All right, well,
rough game.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Lucas, good player, right?
Yeah.
So Lucas is a great player. I was ready to move on.
All right. So what happened in round 9?
I hit a Techlosan.
Okay, that is Techlosan is Warrior's Bane. We don't have disruption. We are not fast enough. They deny reprise. They have armor. If they go into singularity, they get 30 extra health. They can't be fatigued because they probably have at least 8 attacks in their hero card. Kind of nightmare scenario. You never want to run into a Techlo. I think I saw you after the game. I was like, he hit the 6-1 Techlo that became 7-1. Yeah, there were
it was
2
rough.
in the bracket, and they actually made top 8. So yeah,
at no point did I ever feel like not even like I was going to win the game, but like I was going to do anything productive in it. I was just flailing cards. I was locked in. I was doing my best. I was tracking his pitch. I knew what the singularity was at all times, and it did not. Nothing mattered.
I also forgot to mention that most Techlos run 9D reacts. So we add up all these things together. That matchup is really, really, really tough.
9D reacts in 1,000. Yeah.
Counterplay for Techlosan. Does it exist?
Sure.
We talked a little bit about Shatter. On paper works. In reality, they can fabricate a new base equipment if you destroy one of their slots. And if you try to shatter the Singularity flip, your Dauntless needs to get to 13 after you've lost a card. And you have to have a Shatter. It's probably not happening.
It's probably not happening. I was talking to a Techlosan player that I knew right after the match, saying, "What could I have done? Is there any kind of like line that I can find?"
Yeah.
And if your Techlosan opponent isn't bad enough to get the Singularity provoked out of their hand, then the only advice they were able to give me is that Puncture's pretty good. Which great. I've done 3 damage over the course of the game.
I have a better idea. Here's what we do.
Sure.
We Embolden Blade, find out Singularities in the arsenal, and then we do our Dory turn, and then CNC pummel them. That's the only way.
I mean, we can do that.
You can do that.
I'm not running any of those cards.
Yeah, you
I don't run any of those cards in the deck except Embolden Blade.
Yeah.
It's worth a shot.
So I don't know if that'll work, but I think currently at this point, I don't think there is any counterplay for Warrior against Techlosan, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Warrior, maybe. Fang might be fast enough to run him down, I feel like. If you get online early with Fang, I feel like you can run him down. If you can stack, or not even stack, if you can just set up a Long Whisker Loyalty Fire and Brimstone turn before he has 3 Evos online, there's a chance.
Okay.
No other Warrior is good.
Okay. How did round 10 go?
10 was a Marlin.
Yeah. So that...
The joke all week, again, for my friends, was that I had plot armor bracket on day 1, and then the script writers changed for day 2. But Marlin was a nice little reprieve. That is a fantastic matchup for us.
Yeah.
Because our cards block.
Yep. Turns out overpower. We're weak against a lot of mechanics, okay? We're weak against Spectra. Sure. We're weak against Clashing.
Yep.
We're weak against Phantasm. Ward is pretty bad, But we're good against overpower.
We are great against overpower.
And we're good against other weapon users. So that's our class identity at this point.
Well, Marlin leans very hard on the overpower side of it, and when the game was bad. Admittedly, like my opponent was great, trying not to be as salty as I know they wanted to be, but I think if you're playing it properly, Dorinthea is a nightmare matchup for Marlin players. Yeah. I won with 24 health, something like that.
Yep, sounds about right. Okay. Then
round
you
11?
went to round 11, and what did you play against?
Another Techlosan.
Oh boy!
I played against the other.
This after this match, you didn't come and see me, so I didn't get to look at your face and go like. But yeah, this is I presume very, very similar. Like, were the Techlo builds the same? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And then to cap off,
effectively, a few blues were different. Yeah.
To cap off
after that game,
after
that game for round 12, I told myself, you know what? I hit the Techlovasans, but I wasn't asking to avoid Techlovasans. I didn't know that was a threat that I needed to be worried about, right? All weekend I was saying, Victor's not real and he can't hurt me. And then in my final game of the weekend, I got paired into a Victor. So,
boy. This matchup, I can't describe to you how bad this matchup is. It's so bad that they don't even need Trounce anymore to beat us. Like,
no, not at all.
28-0 or something like that. Like,
they hardly need to. They could just choose to draw half of the clashes, and they're still going to beat us. They can overblock. They draw cards. They get extra gold. Cast Homes, visit the Gold Main Estate, whatever you want to call it. That card is way too good into us. And if they decide to big crush thing you for more than you're willing to give up, you're taking it, because if you ever decide to block it, you're never getting tempo ever again. So
the only advice I can give you is or the people at home, is to not rely on Blade Flurry as your attack reaction, because often they're running quick dodge flexors. So if you're going to park a attack reactant arsenal, it needs to be a +3 pump.
Yep.
Or Singing Steel.
And then this
is also fine.
Kind of another piece of advice on just Blade Flurry in general, for like newer Dory players, I suppose. That card, I feel like, and maybe you disagree, Josh, I almost never search that card with Singing Steelblade.
Yes, that's correct.
Like, I don't.
You almost never search for it.
You're never grabbing that card. Don't assume that the chain link you have with your Dawnblade has hit already.
Yep.
Until they say, "I'll take the damage," assume that it's worse than it is.
If you're getting reprise on your Singing Steelblade, there's a high chance they have a D-React.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
There's a very high chance they have a D-React. Most people do not block Dawnblade if they don't have a D-React. Most people are very scared.
Another general piece of advice is, I call it make them buy your attack reaction. If they ever say, "Fine, I'll take 2" on your first chain link, don't react. Don't give them more opportunities to do anything in response.
Yep.
Let them take the 2, move on to the next chain link, and then ask the same question.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly. Okay, so I presume the Victor game was just a sad face. We don't want to discuss it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means you ended up
9, starting 7-0.
8-4.
Nope, 8-4.
Okay, so that puts you in the cash range, I presume, right? Like 20 something.
I was 20. 21st,
26th. Okay, that's anytime you can cash a calling, it's not bad. Obviously, it's a little bit disappointing, but I think you at least showed that Dory has some good matchups, and with a little bit better gem luck here and there. Maybe dodging something here and there. The tournament could have gone differently. Okay, so we discussed several changes that you would have made to the deck. Do you feel like going into this very defensive meta, we're recording this Monday night. We saw the week 5 ProQuest wins results. Literally, number 1 is Victor. Number 2 was Mario. Number 3 was Huntsman. So we got a very defensive meta. How were we feeling about this deck build? Like, if Victor
don't play it, guys.
Okay.
Don't play it, guys.
I will.
Dory's a great.
Yeah. If you've made it this far, you're a hard
channel.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Look, keep coming to this channel for when our moment happens, right? But don't look at my hot start in this tournament and say, "Now's the time." I've been loving Dory. It's not.
Yeah. If Victor is the number 1 deck, you do not want to be playing Dawnblade Dory. You don't want to play Hatchet Dory either. No.
Yeah. I've been playing Dory almost exclusively for 4 years.
Yeah, we've known each other for like 4 years. 2022.
And I got lucky. Yeah, and I got lucky, and I still fell off super hard at the end of the tournament.
Yeah. So I was talking in like the Dory Discord that I think I'm probably taking Bolton to Pro Tour Yokohama because Bolton is the best against the Guardians. If it's a very defensive meta, like you put a Remembrance in your deck, you're okay. So a little bit of tough times ahead for Dorinthea potentially. We could hopefully get some, like the Hala Armory deck very likely has some very powerful cards.
I'm looking forward to Hala.
Yeah.
I'm looking so forward.
So I presume a lot is going to change in about 3 weeks. We are not very far away from the Hala Armory deck being released. So I guess that kind of wraps things up. Is there anything you want to kind of say at the end here?
Not really. I'm happy to have it. Thanks for having me on, Josh.
Yeah.
Thanks for everyone that hit me up saying like they were cheering for the Warrior. Mm-hmm. We're the only class without a CC banned card ever, and we're the only one that's never had an LL hero. So anytime that anybody can put some love toward the Warriors, we're happy to have that. Exactly. Hala's going to change things, I promise.
Yeah.
And then if anyone sees me at an event, hit me up on Twitter, hit me on Discord, hit me up in person, whatever. I'm from Louisiana, part of Team Onslaught. So, cool. I love this community.
Yeah. Flesh and Blood is the greatest game. That's why we've been playing for so long. So, yeah. Yep. All right. Okay. So I guess this will kind of wrap things up. Thank you so much for joining me today. All right. This has been Josh Lau and Kyle McKeough. We'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey man, did you get the KO deck for Worlds? No one's doing that, okay?
Courage to play whole horse now. Don't get greedy. Put him in the middle for now. That's perfect. All right, next year.
RTN champion.
Yeah, we're gonna have to order a couple more.
Thanks for watching the video.
Here's some more Card Guys videos you might enjoy.